Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, that is Kiran Biology, and today we will discuss about the new topic, that is double fertilization. So it is related with the sexual reproduction in flowering plants, and we have studied, I think, yes or not? Yes, we have studied about the sexual reproduction in flowering plants. So it is basically a type of fertilization which is seen in basically flowering plants. The plants which bear the flowers, that is the flowering plants, we call it yes, angiosperm. Yes, no? So we call it angiosperm. So in the angiospermic plants, the fertilization is seen is double fertilization. So what we need to know? We need to know the meaning of double fertilization. Second things, the result of the double fertilization, and lastly, what are the importance of the double fertilization. So let's begin with the topic, that is double fertilization. So students, let's start with the meaning of the double fertilization. So what you can say on the board, please tell me. Yes, it is written, that is double fertilization. If you break this word into two small words, then what will we get? Yes, we will get one, that is double, and another, that is we will get fertilization. I think this one we will get, yes. So double, I don't think that I have to say that what is the double. Double means anything you can say. Double means twice, two times, that is double. Yes, but fertilization, we need to know about the meaning of fertilization, and the meaning of fertilization is same, whether it could be a plants and whether it could be for the animals. So in the both cases the fertilization is same. Means what? How can we define the fertilization? So we can define, suppose we have two gametes for the two organisms, separate organisms. One is male, that is a unisexual organisms. So these animals or these organisms will produce a gamete that is called male gametes. Okay. So and we have another organism of the same species, and it is known as also unisexual, that is female type. So what type of gamete it will produce? That is female gamete. Yes, female gamete. So if these two different gametes, that is male gamete, another is female gamete, will come to close and fuse in such a way that they will form a new cell. So we can say the cell is zygote. So easily we can define the fusion or the union of two gametes. One is male, another is female. Two gametes, whether it could be a different type of gametes. So the fusion of two different gametes to form a new cell, that is called zygote. So we can say define, yes, it is fertilization. But why it is called double fertilization? Because the fertilization in the flowering plants occurs twice. यानी कि यहाँ पे दो बार fertilization होते हैं. How? That we will see. So कुछ याद करने की कोशिश कीजिए. Something we have studied in the chapter the flowering plants, that there is a male gametophyte. Yes, कुछ याद आ रहा है आपको? हाँ, याद कीजिए, हम लोगों ने पढ़ा था there is a gametophyte, that is male gametophyte. So first of all, you tell me students, how many male gametes are there in that male gametophyte? Anyone of you? Yes, two. Yes, there are two male gametes. So there are two male gametes. Two male gametes. We have written male gametes in a short abbreviation form, that is MG. Okay, इसे समझ जाएंगे से MG short में male gametes होंगे. तो there are two male gametes in the male gametophyte, and another part we also have studied that about the female gametophyte. Yes, in the female gametophyte the number of cells are 7. Try to remember the students. We have studied the female gametophyte, which is also known as embryo sac. So in the embryo sac there are 7 types of cells. 3 is in the micropylar end and 3 is the at the chelazal end, and 1 cell containing 2 nucleus will occupy the central space. So in the middle of this cell we call it egg, that is the actual female gamete. Both the two cells are actually it is synergids, and the opposite of the these cells, that is antiprotous, and the center we call it, what we will call it, try to remember, yes, secondary nucleus, or we can say polar nuclei. So there are different types of cells. There are 7 types of cells and 8 nuclei. So we can see that the number of gametes are more. Yes, na? In the part of, if you talk about the only male gamete, there are also number of gametes, means 2 male gametes. If you talk about the female part, so there are also different types of cells or gametes, we can say. So what will happen? These 2 male gametes will fuse to 2 different cells. Try to understand, students, what will happen in the double fertilization. These 2 male gametes, suppose we have 2 male gametes, है ना, 2 male gametes हैं, there are 2, we can say the 2 friends, yes, and ये क्या करेंगे, ये 2 male gametes, what will happen? 1 male gamete will fuse to another cell, means जो एक दोस्त है, that another only 1 friend will move to another way to fuse or to go to the another place. Similarly, the rest of the friend, that is another male gamete, another friend will also move towards the on his way, means another way. So there are 2 male gametes, and both of the 2 male gametes will fuse separately to the different cells to form different results. So it is called double fertilization. So better we write the definition, then we will explain. Okay. So in the definition part we can write, or we can say that the fusion of 2 male gametes, to different cells in order to produce different structures. So we can define in this way the fusion of 2 male gametes to different cells in order to produce different structures. So this was actually observed firstly by the scientist whose name was, I think name तो कभी immortal नहीं होते हैं, तो नाम तो always immortal. So we can say the name of the scientist is Navaschin. He is the person, or he is the scientist who observed firstly Navaschin. Navaschin is the first person or first scientist who observed the double fertilization mechanism in a plant, in a flower, you can say that is the lilium. Okay, so it is the definition. So now students, I think it is clear about the definition of the double fertilization. It's a very simple. Okay, in the plants there are 2 male gametes, and then the female gametophyte, there are different types of cells, so they will take part in the fertilization process. Due to the presence of 2 male gametes, they will fuse to different cells to form a different structures. So that's why the fertilization occurs twice. So that's why it is not a double fertilization. Okay, so let's try to know in a simpler form, in equational form. So let's see. As we earlier discussed that there are two male gametes. So what we'll do, we write one male gamete, first male gamete. So anyone could be first. The first male gamete will fuse to the main egg cell, which is the main female gamete, to form zygote, which will further develop into embryo. So we have told that the two male gametes, one male gamete has fused. Okay. What about the next male gamete? So the second male gamete will fuse the central cell. That is, try to remember what is called the central cell of the embryo sac. Secondary nucleus. Yes, secondary nucleus. So we write in the short form, that is secondary nucleus. Yes, you can say polar nucleus also, secondary nucleus. So it will form pen. It is very most important. We have to know the full form of the pen. So not a pen, that is pen. Okay, it is pen. Another thing, that is primary endosperm nucleus. Students are trying. Students are understanding that. I know, sir, what is the pen? Pen means every student has pen to write something, but it is not that pen. It is another pen, and which says that primary endosperm nucleus, and later on it will also develop into the endosperm. So here we can see and we can understand the meaning of actual double fertilization. What is it? So we have two male gametes. So first male gamete will fuse to the egg cell to form the zygote, and we know, student, that zygote is the living one, means it is a new individual which will further develop into the embryo, and then it will develop into a plant. So plant reproduce a plant. But the second male gamete, which fuses with the secondary nucleus, and the resultant pen will produce, which will further develop endosperm. And it is a very kind information. We must know that endosperm is not a individual, not a living individual, means it will not develop a plant. So what will do? So we will discuss later what is the function of endosperm. So in this two types of fertilization, in which fertilization a new individual is produced? Try to understand and try to discover the fertilization. You also will become and can become a scientist. Okay, because you have to choose, we have to discover the fertilization in which a new individual produced, because we can say the fertilization meaning, what is the meaning of fertilization? Means it will result a new individual. Okay, so yes, in this fertilization a new individual is produced. Zygote, it is a new individual which will produce a plant in the future. So we can say in this fertilization, the first one, so it is called true fertilization. So students, have you got it? Why it is called true fertilization? True, अब true तो बताने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. True means real. Actually, it is fertilization because in this fertilization a new individual is produced, and according to the definition of the fertilization, it is the true fertilization. Then what is the next? This fertilization is called actually vegetative fertilization. Vegetative fertilization. Vegetative fertilization. It is called vegetative fertilization. And we can also say this generative fertilization. That is generative fertilization. Okay, students, there is one more name which is very and most important name, because there are many questions come regarding this name which we will going to know. So what is the name which is most important for this second one, fertilization? That is the vegetative fertilization. So before knowing the name, better we will discuss about the polarity level of the different cells which are taking participate in this kind of fertilization. Polarity level means the chromosomes number, because we know that in each cells there are fixed number of chromosomes, there are certain number of chromosomes, yes, that we know. So in different cells the different chromosomes numbers are there. There are different set of chromosomes. In some cells we can say half chromosomes will be there. In some cell we can say the full set of chromosomes are there. So what we call the cell in which half chromosomes are there, so it is called haploid. Yes, na? And the cell in which full chromosomes are there, the cell is called diploid. It's very simple, है ना? सिंपल यार. किसी सेल में chromosomes पूरा full हैं. Suppose in a child there are two types of child. Okay, the two childs. In one child he has 5 chocolates. Okay, 5 chocolates. And another one, there is a child, he has 10 chocolates. So the 10 chocolates having the children, we suppose the children is a cell, so it is called diploid because they have double of this, means 5 double 10, so it is diploid. Another one that is the haploid, because in this child, means in the cell, the chromosome number is half, आधा है इससे, that is haploid, diploid. So the male gamete, so it is very important to know that gametes are always haploid, means in the gametes are the cell in which chromosomes numbers are halved with the comparison of their mother cell, means germ cell, by which it is formed, by which it is produced. So male gamete, it is a haploid. For the haploid we denote single n, small n. Secondary nucleus, it is already diploid in condition, means this type of cell contains 2 set of chromosomes, means full set of chromosomes, because as we seen that it is a cell which contains 2 nuclei. Okay, so it is already in the diploid condition. So what will the result of the pen after fusing of these 2 different types of cells, one having single N and then another having double N? So the sum of this will triple N, we can say 3N, and this condition is known as triploid. So that's why we say that in the angiospermic plant the angiosperm is always triploid, means the majority is this endosperm is triploid. So this fusion of 3 nuclei is called triple fusion. Triple fusion. We can say the fusion of 3 nuclei, one nucleus from this male gamete and the double or 2 nuclei from this secondary nucleus. So there are total 3 nuclei. So the fusion of 3 nuclei is known as triple fusion, and as a resultant endosperm will produce. So both these 2 types of fertilization is considered as double fertilization. Is it clear? So what will be the answer of the question, that is, what are the results of double fertilization? It's very simple. Yes, na? That we have to know. Yes, tell me what are the results. So we will say the separate results of these 2 separate fertilization. One is for true fertilization and one is for the triple fusion. So the result of true fertilization, that is zygote,